Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. Today, we're doing something a bit different, really diving into what's buzzing right now. We've grabbed 15 trending posts straight from X, like a super fast news digest.
Yeah. The idea is to cut through all that daily noise,
Yeah.
pull out the key insights from these trends. We want to see what they're really telling us about tech, money, pop culture, all that stuff. Get to the heart of it.
Exactly. So, buckle up. It's going to be a fast ride through some pretty diverse posts. We'll hit surprising facts, connect some dots for you. Think of it as your shortcut to sounding smart about today's buzz. Let's jump right in.
Okay, first up, the digital frontier. How tech is shaping finance. This one's from @WatcherGuru. Just NE PayPal to expand its PYUSD stablecoin to Arbitrum blockchain. What's the deal here?
Okay, so this is pretty significant. Arbitrum, it's a layer 2 for
Ethereum,
Ethereum.
like making it faster.
Yeah.
Exactly. Think of it like an express lane for transactions. Cheaper, much quicker. But the bigger picture, this is PayPal, a huge player getting deeper into crypto tech. It shows how giants like JP Morgan, Citi, they're all looking at stablecoins now, trying to keep up with fintech. And it's all kind of smoothed over by the 2025 Genius Act. That gives them the legal framework they needed.
Right, so it's not just techie stuff, it's traditional finance making real moves.
Precisely. It hints at making global payments easier, maybe even bypassing older banking systems. Big potential.
Okay, from finance. Let's pivot to AI in education. This is from @Elon Musk. Try @Grok Companions, best possible way to learn quantum mechanics, AI tutors for quantum physics.
Well, yeah, essentially. Grok Companions are these interactive 3D avatars from xAI. The goal is ambitious. Use AI to help push human scientific discovery forward, especially in really complex fields.
Quantum mechanics certainly counts as complex.
Definitely. And the timing is interesting, right? Big leaps happening in both quantum computing and AI. These companions could potentially leverage that, maybe lead to faster breakthroughs in things like, say, drug discovery. Wild stuff.
Really wild. Okay, speaking of unexpected, let's talk Roblox. Usually think kids, right? But this post from @PopBase quotes their CEO, David Baszucki. Roblox's CEO, David Baszucki, says the platform will eventually support dating for verified adults aged 21 and over. He thinks virtual dates might be easier for some people to start with.
Whoa, okay, that's a turn. I mean, Roblox has always been super strict on moderation.
Exactly. So how does dating fit in?
Well, Bazooki's point about virtual dates being less intimidating, there might be something to that. We see it on platforms like VRChat, which is known for social, even dating stuff. But yeah, Roblox's whole brand is built on safety. Letting adults date, even verified ones, that's a major shift. Their stock's done well, investors seem confident, but there are whispers about engagement dipping in some areas. Maybe this is their way to attract or keep older users. It's a real balancing act for them, though. Safety versus adult freedom.
Yeah, a huge gamble. And it definitely blurs the lines, between online social life and the real world.
Absolutely. The implications are pretty big.
All right, let's shift gears again into finance. Traditional versus new assets. And speaking of new assets, @Sailor just posted, Bitcoin abides. Short and sweet.
Ah, Michael Saylor. Yeah, he's the Bitcoin bull. His company, MicroStrategy, they bet massively on it. Like $42 billion worth of Bitcoin, over 250,000 coins.
Wow. So Bitcoin abides. That's just his mantra, like the dude.
Well, yeah, it's a nod to the Big Lebowski for sure. But it captures his belief in Bitcoin's resilience. And you have to see it in context. Bitcoin's price surged, right? Almost $120,000 by July 2025. Institutions are buying in. Even the U.S. government ordered a strategic reserve. So abides isn't just a cool quote. It also connects to the tech itself, the proof of work that secures the network. It means Bitcoin keeps running, verifying, resisting attacks. It endures.
Gotcha. More than just a meme. Okay, contrast that with a really provocative take on traditional investments. Real estate. This is from @Cobertate. The entire Western Hemisphere of real estate markets will collapse. Young people with 50K opt for 0.5 BTC versus use as deposit for 25-year interest slavery. Says nobody's buying houses.
Oof. Strong words. But, it taps into something real. There's a generational shift. I saw a study, I think, from 2021, showing nearly half of millennials prefer crypto over stocks or real estate. And that phrase, interest slavery, it's harsh, but it definitely echoes how some people feel about massive long-term mortgage debt.
Especially with house prices being so high.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, is the whole market going to collapse like he says? That's extreme. But are there vulnerabilities? Yeah. Think about that big IRS case in 2025, that $658 million real estate Ponzi scheme. It shows there can be instability under the surface. So Tate's post, while maybe hyperbolic, it's definitely channeling real anxiety about affordability and the traditional paths.
Makes sense. Okay, sticking with the economics, but shifting to policy. Tariffs and inflation. Always a fun debate. This one from @Cattered2 is dripping with sarcasm. Tariffs will cause massive inflation. Inflation last month, 0.00%.
Yeah, you can feel the eye roll. This really highlights the gap between political rhetoric and, well, actual economic data sometimes. Remember back around the 2016 election, same fears. Tariffs are going to wreck the economy, cause huge inflation. Didn't really happen on a massive scale. There was a study, NBER in 2019, found tiny impacts on consumer prices from the 2018 tariffs, like 0.1% increase on the CPI.
So basically background noise.
Pretty much. And even looking forward, the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston estimated maybe a 2.2% maximum bump to PCE inflation from proposed tariffs in 2025. That's the Fed's preferred measure. It's nowhere near the massive inflation claims you hear online. It really shows you got to look past the shouting and, check the numbers.
Good advice. Always check the numbers. Okay, from big policy down to a specific company, a weird one. From @Unusual Whales. JP Morgan Chase, JPM, requires workers give 6 months notice before quitting per NYP. 6 months notice.
Yeah, 6 months. That is highly unusual in the U.S. Standard is, 2 weeks?
Right. So why would they do that?
It's almost certainly about retention, especially for high-value tech workers. Remember, JP Morgan had that hiring freeze, and there's been tension over remote work. They probably want to lock down key people. Now, longer notice periods are common in Europe, but 6 months here in finance, that's really pushing it. I wouldn't be surprised if it leads to legal challenges. It's not clear U.S. courts would even uphold that.
Wow. Yeah, that would make quitting a very planned event. Okay, let's move into pop culture and society. How art reflects things. First, an image from Studio Ghibli's Porco Rosso, posted by @TheSynesthetic. The quote is, "Better a pig than a fascist."
Oh, great film. And a powerful quote. It's set in 1930s Italy, right when Mussolini's power was growing. The film is a subtle but definite critique of that kind of authoritarianism. And history backs it up. By 1935, Italy had over 10,000 political prisoners.
Jeez.
Yeah. And what's striking is how relevant that quote feels now. There was a 2023 study pointing out the rise in populist rhetoric globally. The film kind of satirizes that whole leadership cult thing. So yeah, better a pig than a fascist.
Yeah.
Timeless message about resisting oppression.
Definitely timeless. Okay, from classic animation to a new comic book look. @Culture Crave posted, first look at Absolute Catwoman in the Absolute Batman series. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, this series is interesting. It's a different take. Bruce Wayne is younger, 24, a blue-collar engineer who becomes Batman.
Oh, different origin.
Right. And it's been a huge hit since it launched late 2024. First issue sold almost 400,000 copies. And Catwoman, that meow response in the post kind of sums her up now, doesn't it? She's really evolved from just a villain. Since the 90s, really, she's become this complex anti-heroine. Sometimes foe, sometimes ally. Very modern take.
Cool. Okay, now for something completely different. Awards show comedy. @HoopMixOnly shared a clip of comedian Shane Gillis at the 2025 ESPYs. He's referencing Karl Anthony Towns. The quote is, "Karl Anthony Towns is here, hey girl."
Yeah, that sounds exactly like Shane Gillis. That's his brand, right? Cringe humor, kind of observational, pushes boundaries.
Yeah.
And him hosting the ESPYs, which celebrates athletes, shows how big he's gotten, even with past controversies. The joke about Karl Anthony Towns or Kate had a big season for the Knicks, but he's also known for, let's say, defensive lapses.
Ah, okay. So there's context there.
Yeah, Gillis is probably playing on that known weakness. It adds a layer for sports fans watching.
Yeah.
Makes the cringe even cringier, maybe.
He definitely knows how to do that. All right, last one in this section. A meme, but kind of smart. From @TribuDoge. It shows a huge line for an anime waifu character, but the booth next door for Rudy the Red Panda mascot is totally empty.
Right. It's funny, but it actually points to a real cultural thing. There was a study, 2021, I think, showed that a big majority of anime fans, 68%, prefer those idealized human-like characters, the waifus, over animal mascots.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And Rudy the Red Panda? Maybe it's a little wink at crypto mascots like Mudang. Could be. But maybe there's a deeper layer too, like a subtle commentary on what gets attention. We focus on the flashy, idealized thing while maybe ignoring other stuff. Especially seeing this in July 2025 when there was news about State Department analysts for Russia-Ukraine getting laid off. Could be a stretch, but it kind of hints at society prioritizing entertainment over maybe more critical, less fun perspectives.
Wow, that's a pretty deep read on a meme, but I see it. Okay, final section. Accountability, truth, tough conversations. First, a direct question from @Krasenstein. IC should be forced to wear body cameras. Give me one reason why this is a bad idea. Pretty blunt.
Very direct. And it actually lines up with policy. DHS rolled out a mandate in 2025 for body-worn cameras, BWCs, for ICE enforcement. That came after a pilot program back in 2021 seemed successful. And the context is important. Reports showed over half of abuse allegations involved staff at ICE facilities.
So transparency seems needed. Why would anyone oppose it?
Well, official opposition often cites things like operational secrecy. Unofficially, sometimes it's fear of misconduct getting exposed. Investigations have pointed that out. But with recent funding increases for ICE, the rollout of these cameras is likely speeding up. So the debate about transparency versus secrecy is definitely heating up.
Okay, now, we need to tackle a really charged topic. We'll approach this impartially, just reporting on the posts. 2 posts related to Jeffrey Epstein. First from @HighSakarium. He's tripling down on the Epstein files being a hoax, presumably referring to Donald Trump. And another from @AcNewCitics asking the AI Grok, who was it, who said, I've known Jeffrey Epstein for 15 years. He's a terrific guy. He likes beautiful women as much as I do, a bit on the younger side.
Okay, let's take the first one. The hoax claimed by Trump. It does contrast sharply with his 2024 campaign promise to release files. What might have shifted things? Maybe the FBI releasing that CCTV footage in 2025 confirming Epstein's suicide? That could lessen public pressure for more sealed documents. But public skepticism around Epstein is still really high. Remember that 2020 study found like 45% of Americans believe conspiracy theories, often because they feel there's a lack of transparency?
Right, the trust isn't there for many people.
Exactly. Now, the second post, the quote about Epstein being terrific and liking younger women, yes, that is attributed to Donald Trump. It's from a New York Magazine interview back in 2002. They definitely associated in the early 2000s. There was that Calendar Girl competition in '92 at Mar-a-Lago where Epstein was a guest, for example. But crucially, it needs to be said, no peer-reviewed studies directly link Trump to Epstein's actual crimes. Legal documents do show Trump cooperated with a lawyer for Epstein's victims in a 2009 civil case, and Epstein was reportedly banned from Mar-a-Lago somewhere between 2004 and 2007.
Okay. So looking at both these posts together, it's messy. What's the main takeaway for someone just trying to understand?
I think the biggest takeaway is just how incredibly difficult it is to find clear truth when information is so polarized. Perception, narrative, who you trust. These often shape understanding more than just the raw facts themselves. It's a huge challenge to build any shared reality around stories like this.
Yeah, definitely a challenge. Okay, one last post. This one's kind of meta about online arguments. From @MattWalshblog. Yelling at me to stop talking about a subject is the #1 way to make sure that I keep talking about the subject. I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling.
Oh, absolutely. It perfectly captures that dynamic, especially around really sensitive topics. Think about discussions around Israel, for instance. There's often immense pressure, sometimes censorship, sometimes just social backlash. A 2023 study actually found a majority, like 68% of U.S. political commentators, admit they self-censor on Middle East topics because they fear the reaction. So Walsh's tweet, it taps into that basic human resistance, push back against someone trying to shut you down no matter the topic. It's a Streisand effect, basically.
Right. Telling someone not to talk often just amplifies it. Wow. Okay, so just recapping here. We went from PayPal on Arbitrum, AI learning, quantum physics, Roblox dating, to Bitcoin abiding, real estate anxieties, tariff debates, 6-month notice periods, Ghibli quotes, new Batman, Shane Gillis jokes, anime waifus, ICE body cams, and then deep into the Epstein narratives and online debate dynamics, all from just 15 trending posts on X. It's kind of wild.
It really is. It just shows you platforms like X are like a real-time pulse of what people are thinking about, arguing about, interested in, all across the globe. It's messy, it's diverse, it's constantly shifting.
Yeah.
But it reflects us.
Totally. And hopefully this quick dive encourages you listening to maybe look a little deeper next time you're scrolling. Question the surface take. Look for the context, Apply that deep dive mindset.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. What other hidden connections, what deeper insights might we find if we really dove into even more of this fleeting buzz that's all around us every single day? What are we missing?